And the Chiefs respond with the big hits of their own.
Now,
Good Chiefs support in the stadium today.
let's go! News, views, and behind-the-scenes chats from Sandy Park. This is the Exeter Chiefs podcast with Rhino and Bentos.
Hi, this is Jack Yendall.
Hi, I'm Jack Noel.
Hi, this is Don Armin.
Hi, I'm Jeff Parlin. You're listening to the Exeter Chiefs podcast.
Not really sure how to start this week's podcast. Firstly, we haven't got Bentos because he's working again. It's Rhino and Chubby sat on the Chiefs bench here. And as you were just saying, you're James Chubb, and to our right is the mighty
James Haskell.
And same physiques.
Very, very similar. I mean, he's more of an all-round entertainer, obviously, in the model of David Brent, but I'm doing my best.
I'm glad he can't hear us.
I'm bulking.
He might want to have a chat. So should we get into this?
Yes.
How are you feeling about it?
Absolutely giddy. Absolutely on cloud nine. Steve Parrott came down immediately after the game.
He's the guy who does Twitter, by the way.
He is the Twitter pirate, and it was his birthday today, and his face was bright red and just full of tears, and it's so emotional for all of us, all these fans. I mean, today there wasn't a single person in Sandy Park who wasn't here to watch the rugby.
No, I couldn't move. Sometimes I'm in my phone and then back to the game. Today it was fixation, watching move by move, inch by inch, and the last 10 minutes just sat up near the coaches. There was lots of words flying around, lots of shouting, lots of passion, and I remember saying to Barry Frost, our Chiefs cameraman, I think my blood pressure was going through the roof, and he said mine's doing the same, as Steve Parrott said the same.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, phenomenal.
And it was an absolute fairy tale for the boys, and this 6-year journey has got to a point where we are off to Twickenham to play in a final against Saracens, and you've got to pinch yourself. I mean, that was such a good game of rugby. It was so tense, there was so much drama, something happening every 5 minutes. I can't remember most of it, but it means now we get to travel up to London with probably half of Devon. Everyone else
Switch out the lights.
Switch
the
out
last
the lights.
one.
Everyone else who's there who supports any other team bar Saracens is going to be a fervent Chiefs supporter.
Yeah.
Whoever is selling headdresses on eBay is going to do a bomb of business in this next 7 days. Twickenham is going to be Sandy Park with 80,000 people.
Well, let's hear from the man who has guided our force of warriors to this moment. This is Rob Baxter.
I think it's fantastic for us. I mean, if someone said to me, is there one team you want to face in a final and one team you've got the opportunity to beat, you'd have to say Saracens this season, wouldn't you? They've been the standout side, they've finished top of the Premiership, they're the best team in Europe. Right, well, if you're going to win the Premiership, let's go against the good side. The thing I'm concerned about is just making a really good show of ourselves. Because like I said, I wouldn't want the last memory of people having an Exeter team being someone who couldn't turn up in a big final.
And before me and Chubby chat a bit more about the game, let's transition straight into today's captain and hear from the mighty Stino.
We've done really well this season with the Air League, obviously winning that. And, the guys you're training and the guys you don't see on the pitch, they're training unbelievably well. They're very easily they could slip into the side and do as good a job as the boys are on the track. And yes, it'll be a big experience, but we have played at Twickenham before in the big game 6 a couple of years ago, so it's not going to be something new to us. And there's obviously going to be guys who've played in finals before as well. So we'll enjoy it for what it is at the minute. But like Rob says, we want to give ourselves the best possible chance and give our best. Ourselves the best showing next week.
Great to hear both of those guys chatting about the game and real passion, but still a real focus that this is business. We'll hear from Henry Slade in a few minutes' time. So let's get into the analysis of the game, because this was one of those games where there wasn't much stopping. There was a lot of aggression from both sides. And as you say already, you could not take your eyes off it. What was it like on the bench? Because that's where you stand.
It was wet, but it was just toe-to-toe, wasn't it? Absolutely relentless. No one taking a backward step. It was interesting how, apart from Thomas Francis returning from his ban and Damien Welsh is...
And he's looking good as well. He, clearly being in the gym
absolutely,
for the last couple of months.
Yeah, he's put on a bit of timber. And Damien Welsh, with his unfortunate knee, so that meant that Ollie Atkins was on the bench. Apart from that, exactly the same matchday squad as hosted Wasps 18 days ago. And so the game plan obviously was very similar, but obviously Wasps had been working on that as well. And so what it meant was a very, very evenly pitched game against two teams that wanted the win more than anything else.
One of the tensest moments for me, I think, was on 35 with Don and the no try, and then out the back of that with the scrum, and you could just see Woodburn down on the left completely open, Wade miles away from him, waving, but he seemed to be waving at himself. No one caught his eye, and no one managed to get the ball down to him.
But it was a setup for a typical Exeter Chiefs forward try, and unfortunately it didn't work today, and we didn't get the rub of the green.
But we got the penalty try, within minutes.
Yeah, 2 penalty tries in one game. It kind of illustrates the game plan that Wasps were coming with.
Well, too much aggression from Wasps at time, hence why you saw our Italian friend Carlo go into the bin.
Yeah, just drifting too far off the other side. I think one big area of controversy that the crowd really picked up on was after Luke Cowan-Dickey had been pinged early for a very unfortunate no-arms tackle where his arm was actually knocked down out of the tackle. He was attempting to make a legal tackle. To then have 2 body checks go in with a shoulder charge from George Smith in the second half was tough stuff. And I think it'll be interesting to watch it back in the cold light of day, knowing that we've got the win, and actually see whether we were done out of a few positions there. But the boys stuck at it. I thought with 10 minutes to go, that was it. We were going to slip up, and they were going to have.
It started to feel a little bit Rico Arena, and the aggression of the man we've already mentioned today, James Haskell. Some great play, very quick, very fast, very aggressive,
and very vocal with the referee, as he always is the captain's role. And I think
George Smith was fairly feisty, the number 7, wasn't he?
Bradley Davis. Yeah, it was an interesting game, but what we did this week that we didn't do at the Rico was we weathered that storm. We turned the ball over, we kicked for territory, we won the ball back, we got the penalty try a second time, and then just the whole place erupted.
That feels like an apt opportunity to hear from the mighty Henry Slade, who is looking in fine form, and I hope Eddie Jones is watching him, Chubby.
They like a challenge, and I think over the last few seasons we've just slowly progressed each time. I think last year we were disappointed not to get in the playoffs, but we were sort of, I wouldn't say shocked, but we were sort of surprised to be in and around there, and it just showed, I think, the transformation in our mindset this year. We've been massively disappointed not to be in and around these playoffs, and once we've got up here, we were in with a shout. We had our mind set on getting a home semi, and obviously we did that, and now we've made the final, so just that one step further is really exciting.
As our mate Bentos, who we know is working with, say, we need to give a tip of the hat to Salvi, and maybe a wolf whistle. Did you see it?
Oh yes, absolutely. The black hole of Calcutta opened up at Sandy Park. That was.
If you didn't see it, we had a good sight of Salvi's bum for a lot of the last couple of minutes of play, because they were heavily engaged, heading for the line, and he was busy, and nobody could help him. Because
in fairness to him, he was managing to ruck one-handed, whilst his right arm, which I think is his stronger, was desperately trying to drag up his shorts again. Not a pleasant sight, and certainly I blushed.
I don't know about you, Chubby, but that last couple of minutes started to echo the Rico Arena, but it was the other way round. We decided to go for the aggression, down to the corner, line out. What were the boys saying on the bench at that point? Because Stino made the decision, Slade kicked. What were they saying here?
They were getting very vocal while Wasps were camped out down in R22. And then, when the play turned, everyone responded to how much energy and physicality the squad still had and the team still had out there. And it was just, everyone rose to their feet. They really did, literally and metaphorically.
This is the Exeter Chiefs podcast.
One thing I was going to mention, Chubby, was Chudley. What a terrier this boy is.
He had a supreme game, and I know the Exeter Chief Player of the Day was Don, who had a fabulous game in 2 different positions.
Well, the man's a mountain. He makes so much impact.
And he is tireless in his efforts as well. But then, the BT Sport Man of the match was Will Chudley, and for good reason, because he added so much energy, much speed.
He's always there. He's a bit like Salvi, where Salvi's going in hard, Chudley's there kind of pushing it along, engaging with the players, communicating, and almost guiding everything.
And also injecting that pace on the ball at the bottom of the ruck. I mean, he was getting out such good hands. And there were a couple of moves that the boys had said, we've been waiting 5 months to play that move. The one that put us in at the corner that didn't then get awarded a try with Noel at the first half, where he was just slightly
that's when he went into touch, wasn't it? Just into touch, gutting
his entire body. But it was...
but we're Chiefs fans, so it was only a little bit.
Yeah, it was a whisker. But it was a measure of the confidence and the ambition that the boys were playing with. They were throwing the ball around.
News, views, and behind-the-scenes chat from Sandy Park. This is the Exeter Chiefs podcast.
So we're off to Twickenham. It is the finals. Lady's just walked to the left of us to see some fans. He's going to be in fine spirit next week, as we know. I don't know if I'm going to be able to sleep between now and then. I'm so excited that we're going to be there next week, and we just wish the boys well. This is going to be another meteoric moment for the club. There have been so many in the last few months. The quarter-finals, you know, the winning of the A-League. Now, could we do the double and win the Aviva Premiership as well? Let's hear from the fans, and if you want to get in touch with the Exeter Chiefs podcast, at Exeter Chiefs on Twitter, hashtag Exeter Chiefs podcast, and we'll speak to you from Twickenham next week.
Who'd have thunk it after 6 years, what we did 6 years ago, coming up and getting through to the Premiership final. Unbelievable.
You going to Twickenham?
Of course, yeah. Or as an ex-player used to say, unreal.
Just amazing. I actually cried at the end. I felt so emotional because it's just an incredible achievement, and so pleased and proud for them. Fantastic. See them there next week. Brilliant.
First half, really well. Second half, it was 50-50, and we did the job in the end.
I'm not too indifferent from that, to be honest. I think from the first half, I think Exeter Chiefs sort of dominated in terms of territory. I think, to be honest, the best team won at the end of the day.
Absolutely amazing. I loved every second of it. Was having a bit of a kind of wobbly moment, but we nailed it, as always.
That was absolutely an awesome game. Well, tight, classic cup match, I think, really. Yeah, really good match. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Got my tickets for Twickenham next week already. Well, Twickenham, we will be there. Yeah, absolutely.
Your behind-the-scenes access to Sandy Park with Rhino and Bentos. Thank you. The Exeter Chiefs podcast.